Ooh, I'm so excited. Wow. Hello, people. It is your good friend Chad Marco here again, and I would like to welcome you to my new podcast called the OCM Botcast, or otherwise the Original Content Movement Botcast. Now, first of all, I just want to kind of explain the whole premise of this podcast a little bit and explain why I decided to create this. I believe I talked about it briefly on the last episode of How to Be a NEET. And I wanted to do a different kind of podcast, one that I could do more consistently. Because the thing is, doing the whole NEET podcast, I have to, like, I'm kind of limited as far as like the content that I can cover, because it always has to center around being a need or just some type of like neat shit. But with this, I feel like I'll be able to like just talk about more general things, and so I'll be able to make more episodes of this. So this will be more content for you guys, and you get to enjoy my awesome personality even more than usual. So yay! But yeah. The whole idea behind this podcast is that I don't want to just talk about stuff that I'm doing or stuff that's out in the world. You know, as you guys know, I frequent the R9K board on 4chan. And the idea there is that the content should be original. Now, even though we have strayed so far from the light of actually creating original content, or at least, you know, I mean, let's be honest, the majority of the threads on R9K are just not original. But we do have a couple threads, like the creative threads, where people share their creations, whether that be music or pictures or their YouTube channel. So it's obvious to me that we do have some creative people on 4chan who are capable of making content of their own, not just copying memes and spreading it spreading it infinitely. Oh god. But yeah, so with this podcast, now the format of it may change over time, because right now this is just, you know, me starting something new, and so I got to figure out new things, what I'm gonna do. But this is the basic idea. I'm gonna start off, and the first thing I'm going to usually do is just talk about like general like news that's like popping on 4chan, like you know, what's going on in the world that, you know, people on 4chan are discussing and debating about. And then from there, throughout the podcast, I want to share like original content from other people on 4chan and SoundCloud or various other sites that I find, and then share it with you guys here. So, you know, kind of as an opportunity for people to kind of get their content out. Like, for example, if you go to the music board on 4chan, they have those SoundCloud threads, and I found like some cool music in those threads. And so, you know, I may go to one of those threads or one of the creative threads on R9K, and if I see something that I like, something that I think other people will like, then I'll ask permission of that person. You know, hey, can I put this on my podcast? Maybe let the song play out, or share their YouTube channel or a video of theirs or whatever, or just like a snippet of some of their content and something like that. And sort of just acts as a way of, you know, promoting the original content of other people as well as myself. But I'm going to try to keep, you know, because obviously you're on my channel, you already know about my music and shit. So I don't want to fill these episodes with my shit, you know, but if I do put any of my content into these episodes, it'll be just like works in progress, like letting you guys know like the progress on various projects or mixtapes or songs or ideas or stuff like that. And, you know, getting feedback and things of that nature. And also I have like this cool idea of, because you know how on How to Be a Neat, we always had like a central topic that I would talk about. And I want to do the same thing here where I kind of take something from like 4chan lore, maybe like an internet celebrity or an event, something that's going on, and really just go in depth into it. Like really like, I mean, go all out, write a whole script out and do research and, you know, the whole nine. And that'll sort of be like the centerpiece of this podcast. And also the usual stuff, like maybe find like a 4chan thread and then analyze it. Find some posts from there and just, you know, talking about just random shit, really. And going over you guys' comments and stuff like that. But right now, I'm going to keep it relatively simple, you know, because this is just a new thing I'm doing. So just bear with me as I figure out how exactly I want to have this podcast work. But yeah. So now, the first thing I want to do, now that I have my new comfy podcast, let's break this bitch in now. But I think the way I'm going to bring in the new episodes will always be to start off with the news, like just what's going on, like what are the hot topics on 4chan and the internet, and what are people talking about. So I'm just going to talk about a few topics that I've noticed and looked into myself, and just give my thoughts on them. And, you know, you guys leave your feedback in the comments or what have you. So, yeah. Now, oh, shit. Okay. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is this black hole photo that came out recently. I'm sure you guys have seen it. Honestly, it's not that spectacular. It kind of just looks like somebody sparking a blunt in the dark. But apparently, like, it was a really big deal that we finally have actual, like, a quote unquote photo of a black hole. And, you know, because black holes, they consume everything and anything that goes into it, and it'll never return. Like, it's just, black holes have always been like just a big part of like scientific discussions or science fiction and whatnot. So I guess that now that we have like actual photo evidence of it, like I was like, whoa. But honestly, I found the whole thing a little bit underwhelming. Now, what's actually interesting about this, well, what the people on 4chan are more interested in is that when the photo came out, there was another picture of a girl. Her name was, I think, Katie Bowman. There was a photo of her alongside there was a photo of her floating around, and it basically implied that she was behind this photo of the black hole coming into fruition. Like, she was responsible for it. And it, initially, people just, cause you know how guys are, like, you know, guys, we feel like we do everything better than girls, and, you know, like, we better at sports and math and art and science. And so when this picture came out and then people were saying like, oh, she's behind this whole, you know, black hole photo thing, I looked at a lot of the discussions around the internet, and you could tell that guys were a little salty. Like, like, this bitch, like, how did she, no way. She's just a chick. How she, like, but then, cause even when I found out about it, like, I kind of felt like my like fragile male ego, I felt it being attacked. And it's like, I'm so self-aware, like, that I can like tell when I have those type of emotions, and even I had to look at myself like, dude, you're fucking neat. Like, like, why are you comparing yourself to this like this intelligent, worldly, experienced woman? But I can see why guys kind of felt like I can kind of understand why guys like felt kind of threatened by the possibility of this girl making this grand discovery, because like we're supposed to be the ones, you know, inventing things and discovering things, and we're supposed to be the smartest and the scientists and the mathematicians, and girls, they only know about cock. That's all they know about is dick and the makeup. And for this chick to fucking manifest a black hole, it's like, damn, like what are we doing as men? But it didn't take long for people to figure out that, oh, she did like she wasn't solely responsible for this black hole photo. It was actually a group effort, a big team. You know, she contributed somewhat, but she was like, it's not like, you know, oh, Thomas Edison and the light bulb or whatever. Like, it's just, you know, she was just part of the team that was able to create this photo of a black hole. But I remember when that came out, I kind of felt like, oh, like then like I was disappointed for women, because you know, I can put my fragile male ego to the side for a little bit and say, you know what, kudos, you know, good for women, you know, because I mean, there are some savage women out there. Like, there are some smart, intelligent, talented, powerful women out there that put us men to shame, like us, like bottom percentile men to shame. And it's like, I gotta give it up to them. So, you know, I was able to put my insecurity to the side and congratulate her. But then it comes out like, oh, never mind. It wasn't just her. It was like a whole team. And then I felt bad for women, because like, I know that around the world, there's probably some girl that's like, that saw that story and was like, wow, if she can do it, I probably can too. And now it's like, oh, never mind. I'm sorry. You know, oh, she just got coffee for the guys. I don't know what she did, but man, just ultimately I found it kind of disappointing in the end that she didn't play as big of a role in this black hole thing as we originally thought. I thought it would be like a big win for women, and you know, something for them to be proud of and to rally behind. Now it's kind of like, it's got to be fucking embarrassing, you know, as Katie Bowman, like everyone thinking like, oh man, like, oh, she did it. She did all this shit by herself, and now it's like, oh, nah, guys, I really didn't. But yeah, okay. Now, another interesting topic going on 4chan and everybody's talking about is this new data that came out that showed that young people, I believe age 18 to 30, are having less sex, or are just having straight up less sex, particularly men. I believe the statistics said that 18% of women aged between 18 and 30 were still, what was it, like didn't have sex within the last year, or virgins or something like that. But for men, it's 28%. And so this data is in a way kind of confirming what Red Pill, MGTOW, incels, like all these different groups in the manosphere, is kind of confirming what we've already been talking about. And that's that, you know, a lot of men are being left out of dating and sex, whether voluntarily or involuntarily, I don't know. But, you know, it's definitely a lot more men who are just not engaging in sexual activity, me being one of them. And I see people all around trying to figure out like, what's the cause? Is it this? Is it that? Oh, the data is fake. People just, and to this day, it's crazy to me that some people just cannot believe, like it's like they would not accept the fact that women have a huge advantage when it comes to getting laid. They still just can't accept it. It has to be the man's fault. It has to be. It just can't be like. But and if you really look into like a lot of species, like a lot of different species, you will notice that we have tournament species and we have pair bonding species, and it's believed that human beings are a mix of both, where we have kind of enforced monogamy and pair bonding, but also we also have traits of a tournament species, which means that certain males get access to more females than others. So to me, this whole information, like this shit, doesn't surprise me at all. Like I've always been plugged into like the whole herbivore male, MGTOW, incel, virgin wizard scene, like ever since I started like becoming interested in my own virginity and finding other virgins. And yeah, this just isn't surprising at all. It's only surprising to me that people are still kind of in denial about it. But then it's like why? Like why are we in why are men in particular having less sex overall? I want to talk about this more in depth later, but I'm gonna get into this just briefly right now. A couple things that I think, and I think one of the obvious ones is hypergamy. Women, they are basically programmed to always try to date up to try to find the best man that they can, and because of the value difference between the average man and the average women, you have just a select few of guys kind of occupying like this, like being like what's often referred to as like the top 20 or 10% of men that 80% of women want. Now, of course, we all know 80-20 is kind of an exaggeration, but I do believe that it is some, like, I mean, look at the fucking stats, man. But yeah, I do believe that there is some truth to that. Because the thing is that at like the way guys are, we want to fuck a whole lot of bitches, and bitches would just want to fuck the best guy. And if 100 women want to fuck with the best 10 guys, then those 10 guys will be more than glad to fuck those 100 women and just kind of pass them around like that. And yeah, I feel like that when, in particular, when women are young, women are at their like that's them at their peak, at their strongest, because women's value mostly comes from their looks. Even the average woman is like fucking gold on the dating market. I mean, I've said this 100 times. When people say lower your standards, they don't mean like go after average plain Janes. They won't say it, but they mean go after the fattest, ugliest, goblin looking bitch that you possibly can, because even a below average woman has absurd amount of sexual market value compared to the average man. And the thing is, men, our value doesn't really, not saying a man can't have value when he's young, but because a lot of our value comes from resources, we don't really come into our own as far as like our true peak until maybe our late 20s, early 30s, mid 30s, because that's when we have that combination of still being like youthful and strong and vibrant, but also having our life in order. By then we probably got a car, a place, and all that. And it starts to kind of balance out more. You're more of a complete package. Whereas when you're young, there are very few guys who have like all of that. Like, oh, he got a car, and he got the place, and he got the money, and he's tall, and he has a big dick. It's hard to get the full package man. When we're all in our early 20s and shit like that. And that's why I feel like a big part of this whole incel thing, I think that a lot of it is just that, it's just not a lot of guys' time yet. I think that for a lot of guys, they don't realize that, I know you see your peers having sex and being in relationships, but the fact of the matter is that, the girls your age, they're all kind of like laser focused in on the top guys, the best looking guys, the guys that stand out the most. And the average guys, you just not that appealing. And you're not going to be appealing until, your life is more in order and those girls have had their fun riding the cock carousel. I mean, it's just facts. I mean, it's just the way it is. Like girls go through what they call a hoe phase where, it's all about just finding, like just hopping from dick to dick. And I don't think all of it is trying to I don't think women are always trying to intentionally be sluts. Let me be clear. I do not believe that all of these women are just intentionally being slutty. I think that a lot of it is that they're programmed to want the best man, and the best men because I say we but men in general, we want to fuck a whole lot of women. And I believe what happens is that these women might they spend so much time chasing after what they perceive to be the best guys, but they don't realize that if you only want the guys that all the other girls want, if you only want the guys that all the other girls are chasing after and he has options, then what makes you think that he's gonna choose you? And I believe that women, they chase after these best guys and then hoping that they're gonna be selected, but they're not. And maybe they try to trap them with a baby or something like that. If they don't work out, they go to the next one, and then history just repeats itself. It happens again. And I think it kind of reminds me of the story of Icarus, where he gets the beeswax and the feathers, and he can fly now, but he flies too close to the sun. I think that's a big problem with women. I think because of their hypergamous nature, I think they fly too close to the chads and end up getting burned. And guys, we go through the same shit in a way, because we all heard that song, if you want a happy life, get an ugly wife. It's the same idea. It's like, for women, if you want a guy that's in the top percentile of men, then you got to realize that he has so many options that him choosing you is unlikely. And if you're a guy and you're going after the most attractive women, you have to understand that she has so many options that it's very unlikely that she's going to appreciate and choose you. So I feel like hypergamy is a big part of it. But at the same time, I don't want to put all the blame on women, because at the same time, I feel like a lot of it is that, I think men in general are also just less masculine. I mean, even myself, I can be honest, I feel like because of this comfortable society, I feel like men have kind of lost their edge, because you have to realize what makes a man attractive is masculinity, but masculinity is cultivated through conflict. If we don't have conflict, then we get soft, and I think society is just so comfortable that men are less masculine, thus they're less attractive to women. I mean, I think back to myself in high school, middle school, I was a straight up cupcake. I was all about Final Fantasy and junk food, and I mean, I had not a masculine bone in my body. I mean, I'm just now getting into working out and eating right, and really thinking about what being a man is. And but yeah, and there are so many guys like myself who just became just soft little pillow boys, just because, and it's really, a lot of it is through no fault of our own. A lot of us, raised by single moms, didn't have a dad or any type of masculine influences. We didn't go through any type of conflict. We didn't have any challenges to really bring that manhood out of us. And this is something that I swear people do not talk about enough when they talk about this whole incel shit. They don't talk about how just the way our society is structured, this comfort is making it so more less men are gonna be masculine enough to be attractive to women. And like we all know how women are, they don't mind sharing the alphas, they don't mind sharing the top guy. They'll share that's better. That's like because that makes them more interesting because all the girls want them and then they're pre-selected. They have that validation already. So. And the thing is, women don't suffer because of it. Like women, women aren't suffering because of like society becoming more comfortable. Because honestly, these days are so desperate and standards are so low. They don't care if the woman is feminine or masculine. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, and of course, society being comfortable. Or rather, women being less masculine isn't gonna affect them being attractive. That's not gonna affect whether or not they're attractive to men. Most men don't seek out masculine women. So what we have is a situation where society is becoming more comfortable. Men are becoming less masculine, but women are not really being affected by this in a negative way. Whether they want to be feminine or masculine, they're going to get fucked regardless. I mean, let's be real. There's some manly ass bitches out here, some feminine ones out here, and they're going to get fucked regardless. But really, as a man, if you're feminine or you're not tough, you're not masculine, that's gonna go against you so hard. And I think that's probably a very big part of why you see less guys having sex. I think men are just, I think in general, we're just less masculine now because life is so comfortable. Okay, and also I think that a lot of it has to do with just cost benefit analysis. I heard somebody say that men are all about cost benefit analysis, like seeing like how do things weigh up, what's the pros and the cons of dealing with women, and that this more with MGTOWs and their whole thing is more. Women just aren't worth dealing with. They aren't worth pursuing and this and that. And man, I gotta tell you guys, man, like, I've been trying, I'm trying to get myself in order. And so I've been reading books. I've been running, going to the library and shit like that. And I was reading a book on how to build self-esteem. And it has these exercises as far as like writing out your goals, like short-term, midterm, long term, what have you. And I'm sitting there and I'm writing my goals out and I realized like I don't have a single relationship goal. Like dead ass. Like I'm sitting, it's gone. I don't have any more. I'm not saying I don't have any desire whatsoever to ever have sex or be in a relationship, but it's like it's not even on my list of things to do. Like I'm seriously at a point of like pure, I could take it or leave it. I don't give a fuck. And that just comes from like just observing the world around me and really learning about not just female nature, but just really just the nature of relationships that it's not what I thought it was. It's ultimately, men see women as bodies to be fucked. Let's be honest. And women see men as tools to be exploited. And it's like the more I learn about sex and relationships and analyze it, the truer this becomes. Like it's so obvious to me, And it's like I can't put these type of relationships on a pedestal. I just can't. I go out and I see attractive women all the time, but it's like when I see them, it's like I don't see companionship. I don't see a future. Like the first thing that goes to my mind is like she probably don't fuck about 15, 20 dudes. She probably got 20 dudes chasing after her right now. Even if I talk to her, I'm just in line like number like 41, and she's probably gonna be demanding. She's probably high maintenance. She's probably on some bipolar shit. And it's not that I believe that there are like no good relationships, like no good women out there or nothing like that, because I have a friend and I never thought about it much, but I was like, this is probably the only friend I got. And because he been with his girl for a while. Now, I don't know what goes on behind closed doors, but I know that he's one of the few guys where I never hear him talking about his girl like in a negative way. And every time I see them, it's always chill. Like he always talking about how they going on trips and they doing this, they got a place together. Like and seeing that made me realize like, oh, so it's definitely possible, but it's like, like what are the chances of me, bumping into that girl? Like, and like I don't like that hope is just gone in me. Like I don't have that hope anymore. Like it's not a priority anymore, And I think, and just going around the internet, I noticed that it's a lot of guys that feel the same way. Where it's just like it's not like we're like these enlightened monks that have no sexual desire. It's just that the reality of it has just become to the point where it's like it like pursuing sex and relationships doesn't even pass the cost benefit analysis anymore. It just, the numbers just don't work out. It's just the logistics. It ain't right no more. Cause you got to think about it. Like I said, it's like you are off the gate. You probably got to lower your standards below average, cause the more attractive she is, the more drama, the more other guys gonna be chasing after her, the more egotistical and high maintenance she is. So day one, you probably with a below average looking chick. So you're not that excited about pursuing it. Let's be honest. Then on top of that is like, how many bodies she done been through. Does she got any STD? Does she have any STDs? What's her temperament like? And then you got Me Too and all that. It's just, man, I'm telling you, bro. It's just, from my perspective, it's like I don't even. And I've said this several times before. When I see a woman now, it's like looking at a fucking job application. It's like I don't see the benefit anymore. Like unless it comes easy to me, I just don't even want it. Like sex is not something that I'm willing to struggle for. I'm just gonna be honest, and I think that's another reason why less people are having sex. I think that it's just. Some guys we just don't even want to try. Some of us just not even putting in the effort, and it is what it is. Okay, now, last but not least, I want to talk about oh my God, Star Wars guy. Now, if you didn't know, Star Wars, the trailer for Star Wars Episode 9 was released, and to be honest, I'm not a big Star Wars fan. I may have, like most of what I know about Star Wars comes from like the Knights of the Old Republic games. Great games, by the way. And I've seen bits and pieces of the first trilogy. I know enough about the series. I've never sat down and watched it all the way through. And I've seen, bits and pieces of the second series as well. I mean, the second trilogy as well. But I haven't seen anything of this new trilogy. I'm just not a big Star Wars guy. It is what it is. But the crazy thing is that this video came out from this guy. And I mean, when you look at him, I mean, look, I'm not one to talk, but he has like that soy boy vibe, like he looks like, I don't know. He just has that man child look. Like he looks like somehow he looks like he's like 35 and 5 at the same time. Like it's really unusual. But long story short, he releases a reaction video where he's reacting to the Star Wars Episode 9 teaser trailer, and this guy and. I wish I could say like he was just exaggerating or acting or putting on, but this dude was turning red. He was tearing up. I mean, you could tell this guy, he really fucking loves some Star Wars. Now, I thought about making reaction videos, and it's not for me because I feel like making those kind of videos give you like an incentive to overreact, and that's not me. I keep it real most of the time. Like if I made reaction videos, it would just be like me literally just like sitting there like blank face, and then at the end I'd be like, that look good. Like I just couldn't do it because I'm not like, I don't react to stuff that strongly. Now unless it's like Persona 6 or some shit like that. Or Gurren Lagann Part 2. I'm not I'm not reacting like this guy reacted. But yeah, he just went this guy fucking lost it. He was looking at this shit like his wife was giving birth or something. Like the shit was crazy. But now these type of videos aren't really anything new. You got guys geeking out on the internet all the time. But there was controversy surrounding it because this woman or several women, they released like these tweets that was kind of putting the guy down, saying like, oh, he's a man child, and I couldn't date a guy like this, and he's a loser, so pathetic, and and people surprisingly came to defense of this man, like everyone kind of rallied behind him. Like, how dare you judge this man for his interest and his passion in the arts and, of this science fiction trilogy. How dare you roasty. And you know what? I'm glad. I'm glad that for once, outrage culture has benefited, the nerds, because I'm a geek myself. I geek out because I can't sit here and talk shit about this guy because I cried during anime. Like, now I don't cry over trailers and shit, but I've literally tears streaming down my face over anime deaths or just feelsy moments from anime. So I can't talk, man. I've been there. Whether something is fiction or non-fiction, it can give you a very emotional response, especially if you're super invested and you've forgotten that this shit is just a movie or a cartoon. That shit can really affect you. So I'm definitely not gonna try to say that this guy is pathetic or anything, because then I gotta talk about myself. But yeah, I just found it cool that people came to the defense of this guy. And even Mark Hamill, the guy who plays Luke Skywalker, came and defended the guy, and he's getting all these offers and people are just, so I think this is a victory for man children around the world. And that's why I really wanted to talk about this. But yeah, shout out to that guy. And this dude is fucking married. I mean, I don't mean to say it like that, but it's damn, what are we doing wrong? I mean, I've got nice shoulders. Okay, well, that's enough news for today. Now, like I said, the whole concept of this podcast is original content. It's not an educational show. It's original content. It's semi-educational. But yeah. So if any of you guys watching, if you may be, so you have a YouTube channel or anything like that, let me know in the comment section or email me and tell me to check something out. And if I dig it, I'm going to try to include it somewhere in the podcast, because that's the whole point of this shit. I want to share the original content of my fellow anonymous or not so anonymous associates on the internet. And, that way we can all kind of laugh and cry and laugh at each other together and just have fun along the way. So yeah, the original content movement. Okay, so now, next, we're going to have a special segment that I'm going to call Chad Marco's web investigation. I'm going to have to change that soon, probably, because it sounds so weak. But yeah. Now, this week, I want to go in depth about a 4chan legend. I mean, this guy is like a deity. He's like a 4chan deity. And I mean, I'm talking about no other than Kentrey Brown. Stay tuned and enjoy. Today on Chad Marco Web Investigations, we investigate a little guy named Kentre Brown. Now, let's get straight to it, shall we? Okay. Kentre Brown, a young African-American male from California who exploded on the YouTube scene sometime around 2015 with a string of videos centered around the topic of his seemingly endless battle with his own virginity. Over the years, he's created timeless classics such as Let's Talk About Rejection Part 1, Let's Talk About Rejection Part 2, Let's Talk About Rejection Part 3, Let's Talk About Rejection Part 4. Okay, I think you get the picture. In these videos, our good boy Kent discusses the unfairness of what he calls the dating game, a brutal competition in which only the most genetically superior males and thugs are able to win the hearts of attractive young women. Kent, being only 5'2" and having a typical nice guy personality, feels that he is at a distinct disadvantage compared to other men. And I must say that I agree with him for the most part. It's no secret that one of the main traits that can disqualify a man from entering the vagina of a woman is being below a certain height threshold. I mean, we've all seen the Tinder profiles of women who always fail to say anything of value in their bio, but never fail to mention that any guy below 6 feet tall should swipe left immediately. A survey was conducted in which 73% of the women stated that they preferred that the men they date be at least over 5'9". Of course, we all know preferred means require in women speak, but I digress. Now, let's do a bit of math here. If 73% of women want guys who are at least over 5'9", then that means that it's safe to say that at least 3/4 of the female population would never consider Kent, who is 5'2", which is far below 5'9", as a suitable partner, drastically reducing his chances of finding a partner. And this is just one unattractive trait. Factor in his face, race, income, and personality, and his dating options become even smaller. His dick better be fucking huge, that's all I gotta say. But now, let's play devil's advocate. Kent isn't the only short man in the world. Without a doubt, plenty of short men are wildly successful with women. Of course, some jackass is always quick to point out manlets like Prince or Seth Green, who are bona fide pussy magnets, as examples of how height isn't that important. Of course, we all know that wealth and fame nullify most negative physical and personality traits, so we're not even gonna go there. But even average everyday men who are short find success with women. So what the fuck is Kent's problem? What's really holding him back? When Kent first started becoming known on YouTube, his videos got into the hands of a dating coach named Player Supreme, rest in peace, and he gave a few bits of advice that actually made sense and might be an indicator of why Kent was so unsuccessful with women. He suggested that Kent target women who are shorter than him and possibly even move to a country where the average height is much lower than the American average, which for women is 5'5", 3 inches taller than Kent. So this got me thinking. Even though I'm sure Kent was self-aware enough to realize that his height put him at a disadvantage, perhaps he still went after women who were taller than him. To be honest, I never thought much about my own height as far as which girls would find it to be below their standards. Once I learned about the importance of height to women, I began to realize just how many girls were really out of my league. For all his flaws, Kent at least had the balls to approach women, at least according to him. But we have no idea how attractive and tall those women were. Kent might have made the mistake of pursuing women who stood out to him the most without factoring in leagues. The fact that he mistaked the cashier's kindness for attraction to the point of borderline stalking her at her place of work shows that Kent lacks a bit of social awareness. I like to cut through the bullshit and just assume that all girls hate me. But even a pessimist like myself would entertain the thought of a girl potentially being attracted to me based off of little to no evidence, so I can see how Kent might have fallen into this trap. Let's face it, Kent is nowhere near attractive enough for girls to come to him. And if he's only going after pretty or even average looking girls, he's going to be shit out of luck. Another good point that Player Supreme brought up was Kent's style of dressing, which is best described as a 12-year-old going to a basketball game every day of the week. Kent would regularly wear fitted caps with his name or the names and logos of his favorite sports teams on them, and as well as large polo shirts and jean shorts. Jean shorts, oh God, that's the nail in the coffin. Other than the jean shorts, his choice of clothing isn't particularly bad. It's just that on his small frame, his oversized clothes and hats makes him look like a child, which is a big turnoff for women who of course love a well-dressed man. Player Supreme suggested that Kent instead opt for a more mature look and go dressed in button-ups and khakis. You know, the I have a good paying job look. Other people criticized Kent for his fashion as well, but Kent, feeling that the way he dressed was simply him expressing himself, refused to try and change his swagger. And in a way, I can respect that. I've always been the kind of guy to march to the beat of my own drum, whether that's the way I dress, talk, or carry myself. But I also understand that if you really want to optimize your chances of getting laid, you have to conform to the standards of women. In this day and age where women have more value than ever and enough options to fuck a different guy every day of the week, you cannot afford to refuse taking every advantage that you possibly can when it comes to being more attractive to women. I'm all for being an individual, but you can't complain about not scoring while at the same time ignoring the rules of the game. Sometimes you gotta make a choice, pussy or being yourself. Not saying these things are always mutually exclusive, but we're in direct competition with guys who are not only genetically superior, but who are also willing to adjust their every movement to cater to female desires. Much like myself, Kent is simply too stubborn to change himself for the sole purpose of being more desirable to women. But enough about Kent's physical appearance. Let's talk about his personality. Kent is, well, a nice guy. He's well-mannered, polite, gentle. I mean, the boy doesn't even say curse words. Kent is the kind of guy a girl could take to her parents and they would take one look at him and breathe a sigh of relief knowing that their little angel is in the safe, harmless hands of a beta male. Of course, this isn't a good thing. Now, I'm not going to parrot that old cliche that women like bad boys, but they definitely don't get wet over guys giving them generic compliments and being nice to them. Nice is normal, average, every day. The little old man up the street is nice, but you know what he doesn't have? A functional penis, which is what your behavior has to convey to women if you want them to take you seriously as a potential mate. Women like guys who stand out, guys who are arrogant, above average, borderline psychotic even. Anything is better than nice. Now, I've never seen Kit in action talking to a female, but I imagine it probably looks something like that kid Garrett making a fool of himself by dancing for his crush in front of all her friends, only to get a pity hug in return. But don't be fooled. Underneath Kent's seemingly docile exterior lies a very angry and bitter man. Years of rejection and loneliness has filled Kent with rage and resentment for the opposite sex and the so-called thugs that they choose to date over him. Sound familiar? One of the trademarks of Kent's videos are the occasional outbursts where he would yell and shout at the top of his lungs some corny line about his time being now, or just straight up insulting the trolls who follow his channel. While these fits of anger are hilarious and make for great memes, it may be a sign of just how much he's hurting on the inside. While Kent insists that he does not behave that way around women, they are still incredibly perceptive and in tune with the vibes of others. Even if he doesn't go around yelling at women to their face, they can probably still sense his neediness and frustration from a mile away. It's really no surprise that Kent ended up doing a short bid in a mental hospital once his battle with depression got the best of him. It's sad to say, but Kent's personality displays nothing but weakness and mediocrity. Even during his rare moments of optimism, his focus is still on the single-minded quest of finding love rather than loving and improving upon himself. Now, what about his lifestyle and interests? Kent does actually have a few things going for himself. According to him, he has a decent paying job, he owns a car, a big wardrobe, and while he probably shares a home with a family member, in an expensive place like Cali, that's to be expected. Kent has complained in the past about a girl trying to use him for his money, so if nothing else, Kent at least has the appeal of being a potential beta provider. If you couldn't tell from his choice of attire, he's a big sports fan and enjoys professional wrestling as well. Sadly, women don't tend to be nearly as invested in these activities as men are, so it doesn't really aid him as far as having something in common with the opposite sex. This goes without saying, but he is or was a YouTuber, creating videos weekly, but they were usually just rants about depression, women, or rejection. though he would also upload food reviews and videos talking about the latest sporting events. Problem is, Kent would often end up deleting his channel and all of his videos either out of embarrassment or receiving a lot of unwanted attention. Lucky for us, several people have archived his best videos and they are still up on YouTube for us all to enjoy. There were several rumors that Kent had lost his virginity at some point, either through some family member hooking him up or even just straight up paying for a hooker, but this has not been confirmed. There was also a video in which Kent himself claimed to have gone on a date with a young lady, and apparently it went well, but since he's gone back to his sad and lonely ways after that, I'm going to assume that nothing of significance came out of this date, but let's give him a round of applause for even making it that far. But you must be wondering, what is our little friend Kent up to nowadays? Well, after deleting his channels, Kent disappeared for a few months, only showing up here and there, like in the video where he attempts to buy food for a homeless man. But recently, Kent has reemerged under a new name. Kent has died. Now there is only Lone Wolf 1994. His new YouTube channel has a much different focal point than his previous ones, as it's more focused on his gaming, sporting event reviews, or just simply unboxing his latest purchases. To be honest, Kent seems to be in a much better headspace than before. While there is no way to know for sure what's going on in his mind, at least his channel reflects a new attitude and direction for his life. It's much healthier for Kent to center his attention on himself and his interests rather than women and dating. And the guy just looks better in general. His skin looks clear, he has a new hairstyle, new accessories, and his smile even has a little bit of smugness in it, implying that he's probably starting to feel himself a little bit. Only time would tell where Kent is going to end up in the future, but at the very least, things are looking a little better for him. Are we on? Okay. To sort of wrap things up, I just want to say that I truly do feel bad for Kent, and I feel like a lot of his anger and frustration is justified. At first, I thought he was just a crybaby who needed to smoke a joint or something, but ever since educating myself on the importance of height, not only for women, but just life in general, it's no wonder why Kent ended up this way. I mean, only 15% of the male population in the US is over 6 feet tall, yet over 50% of the CEOs of major companies are 6 feet or higher, indicating that a man's height could play a major role in how he navigates society, especially when it comes to how others perceive him. Kent was also bullied while he was in school. Now, being short is no excuse to allow people to run all over you, but without question, his height made him a prime target for assholes looking to knock someone down a peg. I'm willing to bet all 3 inches of my dick that a 6 feet tall Kent would have gotten laid years ago. His confidence would have been much higher, he would have been more capable of being an athlete in school, and the amount of girls willing to date him would be significantly larger. Again, people are always quick to point out exceptions to the rule as evidence that black pill theory is nonsense and anyone can be successful with women. And while I agree that anything is possible and that you can compensate for genetic disadvantages through hard work and having the right attitude, the fact of the matter is that resources and positions of power are limited, and those who are left out are more likely to be those born with a bad hand. It's just natural selection at work. To illustrate my point, let's look at the NBA. You can point to a player like as oh fuck. Oh fuck, that up bad. Okay. To illustrate my point, let's look at the NBA. You can point to a player like Isaiah Thomas as evidence that you don't have to be tall to play the game at the highest level. But then why is the average height for players 6'7"? Because as skilled as he is, Isaiah Thomas is still a complete void on defense and just rebound bait on offense. Hard work and dedication has landed him spots on several teams, but you would never see a team full of Isaiah Thomases, or even a league where there are a significant amount of short players, because there will always be players with the same level of skill or better than Isaiah, only without the glaring height disadvantage. Now, Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying people should just give up and cry all day just because they got dealt a bad hand. I don't care how bad you have it. You better fucking believe that you can break into the top percentile of men, or at least that you're capable of finding happiness and success in life. As Elon Musk put it, it's better to be optimistic, happy, and wrong than pessimistic, sad, and right. But at the same time, we have to face reality. Life is a bitch, and everybody can't make it. Some people are truly fucked no matter how hard they try, or at the very least, won't start off on the right foot like their peers. I believe that Kent deserves a little sympathy and understanding. Not that we should join in on his pity party. You can't help somebody who doesn't want to help himself. But now that Kent has taken a new path, the path of the lone wolf, as he calls it, I think we should support that. When I realized I wasn't going to have much success in dating and that I didn't want to go through hell just to get my dick wet, I decided to try and find happiness elsewhere. And it's worked out pretty nicely for me. I still get the feels from time to time, but overall, I'm happy to be alive and look forward to the future, with or without a girlfriend. If not, this video will probably be titled, "Let's Talk About Dumb Black Bitches Part 34. But to sum it up, I hope that Kent, Lone Wolf, can find the beauty in life that I discovered, which encourages me to try and better myself and take on the world with a smile every day, and possibly even get a girlfriend. Until then, we'll be watching, Kent. Gambate. Okay, now, I hope you guys enjoyed that little segment on our good friend Kentre Brown. Now, as I said before, this whole podcast isn't just about shooting shit. You know, I want to have, in the future, I plan on having, maybe songs from different creators around 4chan, or, showcasing different YouTube channels or videos, just as, stuffed in between different segments of the podcast. But for now, I don't really have, I kind of decided to go ahead and just get this episode out, spur of the moment. And I'm banned from 4chan right now for posting a dicklet thread on on V. But yeah, in the future, I plan on, going to the creative threads on Moo or R9K and actually asking people, hey, can I use this song or this or that on my podcast, just to, kind of show it off. And, so that's the plan for the future. But for today, since I don't have that, the original song of today would be from yours truly, Chad Marco. And you might have already heard this before. This is an old song I made. But it's still funny as fuck to this day. And so here we go. Here's Chad Marco, Mama's Crib.
White boy, he don't do shit. Fresh. Yeah. This intro long as fuck, man. Whoa. I keep the work at my mama crib. Make bitches twerk at my mama crib. I'm blowing pounds at my mama crib. That money pile at my mama crib. Woke up with some breakfast, kush blunts in the air, biscuit. Put shoes on and a necklace, king coat on my necklace. I'm fresh. Mama said, boy, you better not leave the kitchen a mess. Mama said she was listening, heard I'm saving up for a tech. You right. But these niggas know that I'm ballin' out of control. We too deep and I'm unique, so I'm reeling in they hoes. Getting cake and dough, getting frames, pesos. They hate on me, what you say, homie? Keep the blade on me, can't know. Hold up, think I hear the damn dogs barking. Niggas pull it up, so I pull it out, now they all walking. Damn.
I keep the work at my mama crib. Make bitches twerk at my mama crib.
I keep the work at my mama crib. Make bitches bitches twerk at my mama crib. I'm blowing pounds at my mama crib. That money pile at my mama crib.
Mama crib.
Okay, now that was a little bit of original content for you guys. Now moving on to the next part of this podcast. Now, if you remember on how to be a NEET, I would occasionally take a 4chan post and, just kind of read it out loud and, give my thoughts on it. But for this podcast, I want to take it to the next level, because this is original content, original music, and original stories, right? Original ideas, everything. Yeah, but the whole nine. So I want to take like whole threads from 4chan and not read like every post, but just, read the OP and a few of the posts that stood out to me and just talk about the subject at hand because, I found that people on 4chan, for better or for worse, it's a place where you can give your honest opinion on things. You don't have to filter yourself. You don't have to hold back. And so I feel like, covering a good 4chan thread is very relevant to this podcast because, you'll just never see more authenticity from someone than when they're fucking anonymous and when they can just really speak their mind. So, I think for every episode of this podcast, I'm going to take a thread from 4chan and we're just going to dive into it and see what people think about different subjects and that kind of shit. Okay, so today's thread I got from, hold up, let me pull it up real quick. Today's thread I got from the fitness board, because I'm interested in, working out and health and all that. So I went there and they had this huge thread. It's about 200 replies on genital herpes. Now, let me read the original post. Now, the guy said, "Hey guys, I just got my test results back and I tested positive for HSV2. I had what looked like an outbreak about 6 months ago, but finally took the test the other week. I've had sex with 30 girls and most without a condom, but now I'm dating a girl who didn't really care when I told her. Any idea what I should expect? How common are outbreaks? The first was pretty bad, a little itchy, looked gross, but I hear they get better with time." And oh man, so because even though 4chan has a lot of virgins and wizards and robots, there are still a sizable amount of normies on 4chan who are sexually active. And I've just always wondered, like, how many of these guys have like herpes or STDs or something, because it's like these are real people on 4chan. So it's like real people with real problems and issues. So it's like, I know all these people aren't just having sex and like getting away scot-free. Somebody's having baby mama drama. Somebody's catching the STD. And this thread was very telling. I mean, there were a lot of people, well, I would say a lot, but there were definitely a decent amount of guys, even in this one thread, who were like, yeah, I got this or I got that. And, yeah. And he said he had sex with 30 different girls, most without a condom. So yeah, it was really doing that, man. It was only a matter of time before he caught something. But surprisingly, the girl he's dating, he said didn't really care when he told her. But the funny thing is, the guys in the thread, they were like, "Oh, she didn't care. Oh, that means she got something too." It's probably the case, or maybe she's had sex with so many guys, she just assumes that she probably has something too, so she's not worried. I don't know, but let's read some of these posts in here. Now, this guy says, "I got to wonder if you could actually keep a relationship even if you have herpes. Who would want to choose a diseased partner when there are healthy people they can choose from?" And man, like I think that's how most normal people would think. I mean, because just being honest, man, if I don't care how attractive a girl is, if I know she has herpes or any type of like incurable sexually transmitted disease, I just can't fuck with her. I don't care. She better be a damn billionaire, millionaire, and willing to break me off something. But otherwise, I can't deal with that shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and maybe it's just like the stigma that people with STDs have or whatnot. But I know me personally, like I wouldn't even, and really, it's crazy because I don't mean to be judgmental, because if I'm going to be 100% honest with myself, the reality is, you know, when I was younger, like when I wasn't as okay, like, or rather when I wasn't as informed on STDs and the absurd rates of sexually transmitted diseases floating around, I probably would have made the same mistake. I mean, I can imagine that young me would, you know, like if I had a chance to have sex with a decent looking girl, I seriously doubt I would, you know, stop in the middle of it all and say, "Oh, are you clean?" or "We should go get tested." Like, I don't think, like years ago, I don't think I would have even been in that mindset. So I can definitely understand why people are just so reckless as far as like watching out for STDs. I think a lot of people really don't realize. I think a lot of people like just don't realize how prevalent they are, and they don't realize, especially as a guy, they probably don't realize like just how promiscuous like girls are nowadays. Like you're probably like guy number 9 or 8 or 10 or something. So you got to think, man, like you having sex with a girl, like you're now in this network with her as well as all the other guys that she's had sex with and all the girls that those guys had sex with. So you got to be real careful, man. Okay, this guy says, "Man, it's a bummer, but I wouldn't trade my man whoring for not having herpes, I don't think. I also really don't think girls care about STDs. Almost all the girls I fucked, even the good girls with single digit partner counts, never cared about me not wearing a condom. Many even encouraged me to not wear a condom when I was the one who wanted to put it on." And you know, well, I hope he had fun. But he says that he wouldn't trade the herpes back for his sexual experiences. But as someone who doesn't have any STDs, well, as far as I know, I mean, I've never had sex, so I guess it's safe to assume. I can't imagine the situation where having an incurable disease like that would be. I mean, I guess because I'm in a position where I can prevent it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't want it. I just don't think any amount of sex would make having herpes or warts, and it's not just the disease itself. Like I said earlier, it's that stigma. It's like I would be basically Hitler if I met a girl and I didn't tell her that I had an STD. So it's like if I were to catch an STD, then that means every single person that I ever have sex with in the future, like it would be wrong of me to not tell them beforehand, like, "Oh yeah, I have an STD." Like, just imagine that shit, man. Like, that's just such a buzzkill, dude. Like, and then it's always gonna be lingering in the back of your mind, man. Like you're on a date and she's pretty and she likes you, and you can tell that you're about to hit, but it's like you gotta tell her. You gotta tell her beforehand, or you're just a piece of shit, and you don't want to be a piece of shit, man. So yeah, that's why, man. I fuck that shit. But I mean, he said even the good girls with single digit partner counts. So, I mean, that kind of shows like how bad it's gotten. Like now the good girls are the ones who only fucked 8 guys instead of 18 guys. But he says that they never cared about him even wearing condoms, and that kind of that makes me think of my friend who told me about this one girl he was with said like they were about like it got hot and heavy and but he told her he didn't have a condom and she was like whatever, like you don't wear a condom. It's like it's crazy to me how reckless people are nowadays. Like it's like people really just don't care about the possibility of catching an STD. I think it must be like a lack of education. It must be a matter of ignorance because, like I said, I'm not judging. I can imagine, thinking like, cause like if I was like in college or something, I wouldn't have been thinking like, oh, I need to ask every girl I have sex with if she's clean or if she has paperwork or something like that. I would have never even like that would have been the last thing on my fucking mind. And it's only now that I know so much about STDs because of doing the research and going to the CDC website and all that. It's like it's such a bad decision to have sex with someone and to not know their status as far as STDs. Like it's straight up a bad decision. It's like jumping into a fucking it's like jumping into the like I don't know, it's like punching a bear in the face or something. It's just obviously dumb. But it's sad too because it's like it's kind of like how they say ignorance is bliss. It's like now that I know, it's like there's just another barrier between me and potentially having sex now because now I know better. I know how serious these STDs are. I know the fucking exchange rate on these things. But let's go to the next post. This guy says, someone explained to me how asking for an STD test before sex is okay, but asking for one before kissing them to avoid oral herpes isn't. And see, and this just makes it even worse because you realize like it's not enough just to, get tested before having sex or to ask about, if they're tested. Like you suddenly realize like you can get an STD just from kissing somebody. So I mean, you can't even do like the normal, like just, holding hands and Netflix and chill and we're just going to make out. Like just making out, you might be kissing a girl who got like diseased dick on her lips. Like it's just like, man, like when you really learn about this shit, it really sucks a lot of the fun out of the idea of hookup culture and being promiscuous and just, spur of the moment, passionate sex. Like it just throws a wrench in all that shit, man. Let's go to the next one. Now, this guy says, come to think of it, we receive so much conditioning from the media. They teach us to eat pussy and even eat ass, but I can't remember them ever teaching us to ask each other about STDs and be cool with it when asked, right? I think we even receive more conditioning about this silly, enthusiastic consent stuff. I kind of disagree because I do feel like there has been some effort to educate people on STDs, like sex ed, and you go to the hospital and they got like little pamphlets and shit, and maybe an article comes out about like super gonorrhea or whatever. So I feel like there is an effort to educate people on this sort of thing. But I feel like when he says media, I think he's talking about like Hollywood movies and TV shows because, in the movies, there's usually some type of like romantic subplot or maybe it's the main plot or whatever. And the guy, he meets a girl, they start dating and then they like each other and then, it kind of just escalates towards sex. But never do you ever, like I can't remember ever seeing a movie where the two, the man and the woman ask each other about their status as far as STDs. Like, oh, have you been have you been tested yet? Have you are you HIV free? Like, I've never seen that sort of conversation be had in like a romantic movie or anything like that. Like, when it's time to fuck, it's time to fuck. They don't really, they're not gonna just hit the brakes and, pull out a fucking STD STD results chart or anything. Like, just imagine fucking Spider-Man, and the scene when like he's hanging upside down and Mary Jane is holding his head and it's raining and he lifts the mask just enough so his lips are exposed. And just imagine if before they kiss he was like, just 1 second, are you clean? When's the last time you've been checked for STDs? Like, it wouldn't work in the context of a movie, because everything's supposed to be spontaneous and passionate and spur of the moment. And in that sense, I can see that we might have been conditioned to just, not really think about it that way. That, it's hard enough to get laid, for some guys to get laid, period. So to even suggest that you fucking just hit the brakes on, you're about to have sex and you got to just say no and, like fucking coordinate getting tested together and waiting for the results. It's like, get out of here. People are not trying to do that shit. Oh shit. Give me a second here. Okay, now next one. This guy says, this is why I'll never again have unprotected sex with a girl unless we both get tested first. Every girl I had sex with didn't seem to care about using a condom. Many didn't know me that well, didn't know who I had slept with or if I was clean. They just didn't care. The one time I went raw with a supposedly good girl who had low single-digit partner count, I thought I caught HPV. Turned out to be MCV, which fortunately is easily curable. But since then, I've never gone raw again without us both getting tested first. Sex, and casual sex in particular, is the most overrated, degenerate thing. Being an incel version is bad for your mental health, so you should at least get laid with a decent girl once. But after, it's just pure degeneracy to chase after whores for casual sex. The best thing you can do is get the HPV vaccine, then only have sex with girls you're in a long-term committed relationship with after you both get tested for all STDs. And yeah, I mean, this guy, I mean, I'm kind of thinking the same way. It's like, I've never, of course I've never had sex before, but I know going forward, should that time come, like, I absolutely have to, we have to go get tested. I mean, even though I'm a virgin, I'm not going to just use that as like the excuse not to get tested with her. I mean, for all she knows, I could be lying. I could have all kinds of HIV blood and, could be fucking all kinds of shit. But it's like, I can't, it's like I said, man, the ignorance is gone. Like, we know now, like we know, like, I think, cause, if you didn't know, I'm black and I correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that the STD rates for sexually active black women is like 48%, like just below half. So literally, me as a black man, more than likely, if I have sex, it's gonna be with a black woman. And if I'm not wearing a condom, or if I don't know if she hasn't been tested and I don't know her status, I'm literally flipping a fucking coin on herpes and genital warts and gonorrhea. Can guys get gonorrhea? Crabs, whatever the fuck, man. Like, and it's like, man, I value my health so much more than the possibility of just getting laid. And of course, that's easy to say now that I'm not getting laid, but I really hope that I have the presence of mind and the discipline to make the right decision should that, situation ever come up, man, because this shit ain't no joke. And, same thing like the other guy. He said every girl I had sex with just didn't seem to care about using a condom. And, I feel like we as guys, we have a lot of ego attachment to like getting laid, like the validation attached to the, the whole idea of scoring with a chick. But I've been wondering lately, like if you get laid, you gotta wonder, like, is it because you're just so attractive and your game is good? Or is it that she's just easy? Like, it's like, how do you know if you got game or if the girl's just easy? And that's another thing that just kind of discourages me from pursuing the whole casual sex hookup culture thing. It's like, even the validation that you would get from it, it's like, it's not even all that real, because she might just be an easy slut. She just might, it's not that you were just so manly and masculine. She was just a fucking no good slut who doesn't take her health into consideration. This is just bad decision making, straight up. And what else? What the fuck is MCV? Now he says being an incel virgin is bad for your mental health, so you should at least get laid with a decent girl once. And I'm sure that getting laid would be a nice confidence boost, but man, like I said earlier, I can't be bothered. I don't give a fuck if I'm gonna be just less confident as a man because I'm a virgin, and it's just gotta be that way, because I'm not about to fucking backflip through flaming hoots and cartwheel over alligators and then front flip over LeBron James and dunk. I'm not about to do all that shit just to get laid. And then I dunk right into a pile of STDs. It's like right into a pool of HIV. It's like, come on, man, fuck all this shit. Like women, they're just so demanding, and then I got a 50% chance of catching a fucking disease from them. That's very encouraging. All right, this guy says, how are you guys so chill about this? I got genital warts from fucking one girl, the only girl I ever fucked, and this won't go away. I'm legit thinking about killing myself. I can seriously see why this guy is mad. Because at least the other guys in the thread, like, they were kind of like man whores. So I guess, like, in their mind, they were like, well, if I didn't have these herpes, I wouldn't have fucked 20 bitches. So I guess they've kind of made peace with it in that way. But this guy kind of seems like a robot who just barely got laid, and it just happened to be with a girl who had an STD. Oh man, and I feel like if I had lost my virginity, like when I wasn't aware of this shit, I feel like I probably would have been this guy. I feel like this would have been me. I feel like I probably would have got linked up with like some thought, and then got so excited, and then ended up just catching something from her. Cause these girls, man, these girls are fucking holed out for real, dog. I mean, the only girl he fucked, and he just has a lifelong disease, and he's got to tell every girl in the future, I got this, and oh, god damn, bro. Shit is sad. All right, this guy, he says, it's not really that big a deal. Incels make a big deal out of a load of nothing. Says the guy with fucking herpes. I mean, come on, like, and in this thread, there were like a couple guys like this who kind of made light of it, like, it's not that big of a deal. And I see what they're talking about, like, as bad as the stigma surrounding STDs are, I mean, if you're talking about like HPV or warts or herpes or something, then, at work, well, I'm not gonna say at worst, but typically it's just like, you get an outbreak of some bumps, some itchiness, and you get it frozen off, or you take some medicine, and, it's almost like you don't really have anything. It's like, it kind of goes dormant, so it's not like, it's not like you just fall into pieces and your hair's falling out and you're losing weight or something. It's not like the last stages of AIDS or anything. It's very fucking manageable. I mean, as far as diseases and illnesses are concerned, it's relatively tame, but still, it's just, I think a lot of it is, like I said, it's the stigma. It's like you have something that it's just better not to have it. It's better to have no bumps than bumps. I remember I was watching a porno, and this guy just had straight up genital warts. I mean, just no question asked. This motherfucker had warts on his motherfucking dick. And this bitch was sucking his dick too. So, man, straight up warts on his dick. And that shit looked disgusting. That shit looked nasty. Normally, I mean, I've masturbated to everything on every tag you can name. I masturbated to it, but I can't masturbate to genital warts. I don't even like it when girls got a little nasty like skin tag on their assholes. Like, man, but yeah, fuck that shit. I just like all that said. I don't care if it's just bumps here and there. It's just like no, and then, like I said, man. You gotta tell any partner, any future partner that, you know, you have this disease. If you don't, you're a fucking douchebag. And just straight up, it's at least a 50% chance that they're gonna back away once they learn that you have an STD, unless they got one too, or they feel like they have one. More than likely, they're gonna. I know I would. I don't care how bad that chick is. I wouldn't even let her touch my damn dick. Get the fuck out of here, you fucking bump motherfucker. That's mean. Okay, now last one. This guy says, why are fit people such degenerates? Even normies don't hold a candle to this. Shit like this makes me never want to have sex. Absolutely no amount of pleasure is worth getting an STD from some whore. I hope some incurable deadly STD comes up so people are forced to have some decency. And man, like, and you know, I can kind of relate because like the more I learn about this shit, it's just like I said, it's another barrier that just discourages me from even pursuing sex, let alone having it. You know, it's just like now it's just like just no, I'm good. You know, because I mean, especially like at my age now, it's like any girls that I meet, they at least, man, I'm being generous. Cause I mean, in fact, let me back up. Let's do a little bit of math here, man. Let's say you meet one girl, right? Now, let's say that she's fucked 3 dudes. Now you fucked one girl, but she's fucked 3 dudes other than you. Now, those 3 dudes, now let's, you know, just whatever. Let's say they each fucked at least 3 women. So now they each fucked 3 women. Now, of course, women, they get around, they got options. So those 3 women that each of those 3 guys fucked with, that's 9. So that's 9 women. And let's say those 9 women at least fucked 3 guys. So hold on now. Now you got the woman you fucked, the 3 guys she fucked, the 9 women they fucked. Now you at like what 14 or what? What's that? 13. And then the 3 guys that the 9 women, dude, you're already looking at like 30 to 40 fucking people. Like you're already connected to like 30 to 40 people who are just fucking. And that right there should just show you how easy it is to catch a fucking STD, because when you have sex with someone, now you're in this network. You're connected to them as well as every person that they had sex with, every person that they had sex with, every person that they had sex with, and so on. And that's why it's so easy for shit to get around. And it's like, you know, once you're out of high school, man, you gotta accept that any girl that you get with, she been with at least about 2-3 guys, at least. I'm just saying out of high school, and I'm being generous. I'm being generous because I try not to believe all this all women are horror shit. You know, I gotta be real, dog. Like at least 2-3 after college, this is at least 6-7. You know, mid-20s, you talking 10. Like I mean, but I digress, man. It's just, this thread was just like another nail in the coffin for my hopes of ever, for any hope of me like pursuing sex anytime soon, man. Like I'm comfortable now in the virginity shit, man. Yeah, I'm just comfortably virginal right now. But I just want to reiterate that I don't want to like it's not to like judge anybody, because I truly feel like, when I was younger, if I had the opportunities to have sex with attractive women, I wouldn't have made the responsible decisions. I would not have made the right decisions. That's why I feel like, in a way, man, like being a robot or an incel or a wizard or a virgin, whatever you want to call it, I feel like it's really at least for me, it's been a blessing in disguise. Like, I feel like it's really protected me from the pitfalls of being sexually active that I didn't realize when I was younger. And it's like now, I just feel like, man, like, I mean, I honestly feel like, in a way, man, like being a virgin is kind of the shit right now. To me, it's at least kind of cool, because it's like you don't deal with this kind of shit. You don't deal with the STDs and the baby mama drama and the simping and all that shit, man. So, and and I feel like what would upset me the most isn't just the idea of like having the STD. More importantly, it's like when you get it, you fucked up. It's like you committed the cardinal sin against your own dick, and you caught a fucking STD, and it's so many ways to prevent it. And they've been telling us since sex ed, and no, you made the mistake and you fucked up. I feel like that would bother me more than anything. So yeah, man, to all my viewers out there, man, if you're sexually active or you're thinking about being sexually active, I suggest you really look into, look at the CDC website, look at the rates of STDs and all that shit, and, just educate yourself on this shit, man. It will really make you think twice about, wanting to be a part of, hookup culture and the tenders and all that shit. So just food for thought, man. Oh boy, what's next on the... Okay, now, as I said, this channel is about original content. Now, I don't have a lot of original content for this particular episode. We're just kind of chopping it up. It's episode 1, but there is something that I wanted to... There's a YouTube channel that I wanted to promote very quickly, because, this guy has a fucking gym on his channel. Now, hold on, let me get a sip of water. Now, this guy's name is Smizzle. He has a YouTube channel, has almost about 300 subscribers right now. I'm looking through his videos, and it's kind of about like Chan culture and some anime stuff. But more recently, he managed to have an interview with the legendary Mad Thad. Now, I don't know if you guys are aware of Mad Thad, but he's kind of he's one of the great 4chan legendary beast alongside Kent and Eggman and Chad Warren. He's one of the legendary 4chan idols, demigods. And this guy managed to have not one, but 2 interviews with Mad Thad. And I found him to be incredibly interesting and entertaining. And, he's an upstart channel, much like myself. So, just check him out. I might do a special Web Investigates Mad Thad one day. He'd be a good 4chan legend to cover, and might even be able to get him to do an interview with me. That'd be cool as hell, because we're both like black weeaboo otaku nerd types. But yeah, check out Smizzle's channel, and especially his interview with Mad Thad. I promise you will not be disappointed. Okay. Now, moving forward, I'm going to get into some comments, and I'm also going to talk about some of my projects. So stay tuned. Okay, so I know you guys are wondering, where the fuck is the Robot Music Volume 9002 mixtape? And man, I had a big setback, to say the least, and that setback was called Persona 5. I got that game, man, and that game just took my soul. I'm sorry, like, I wanted to get the mixtape done like 2 months ago, but that game it took my soul, man. And I finally finished it a couple weeks ago. I think by the end of it, I clocked in at about 160 or 70 hours. I mean, but I really underestimated the power of that game. I mean, and I'm gonna do a review of it soon. But yeah, that's primarily why. And just in general, to be honest, I wasn't feeling very well. My drive and motivation and confidence just hasn't been very high lately. Only recently have I been kind of pulling myself together. You know, I've been writing again and making beats again and organizing things again. And now I'm finally getting back into the flow. So I'll say that, should I keep this up, for sure, the mixtape will be out within the next month, for sure. I just recorded because really it is almost done, really, because I've been making songs for it for like over a year. It's just I haven't, gotten all the songs done for it that I want, and I only got about 4 or 5 more that I want to finish, and I can do that, in about 2 weeks. So. And alongside that, I want to finish up Super Saiyan Kush 2. That's another one that I've been working on. But like I said, just not having the drive and motivation, just kind of being, procrastinating and being lazy and shit and down. But now I'm feeling more energetic. I'm feeling better. So I feel like I should be able to get all this stuff done. And I have a surprise mixtape coming out soon as well. I'm not going to leak anything about that, but it's gonna be a little interesting thing. So I got about 3 projects that I'm working on right now, and then I'm probably gonna work on about 3 more right after that. Like I've got ideas lined up. I just got to get into it. I just got to get into the whole workflow again. It's been hard, man, because like I said, man, it's I'm not a neat for no reason. Procrastination is definitely a bad habit of mine. So just bear with me. I'm gonna try to, just always leave comments, man, and email me, encourage me. Like all that stuff really helps, man. Sometimes I just need that extra push to remember that there's people out there that like what I'm doing, and I want to keep doing it for you guys. And I promise I'm not gonna let you guys down. So. Just stick with me, man, and we're gonna have a lot of fun this year for sure, especially this summer. I love it. Summer is back, man. It's sunny every day. Well, not every day, but the sun is coming out more often. And when the sun is out, I like to go for runs. I can run to the library, get some reading done, some writing done, and in peace and without distractions. So yeah, just expect a lot of new things from me this summer, man. We're gonna have a lot of fucking fun this summer, man. I promise. So yeah, and of course this new podcast here, I'm gonna try to get these out bi-weekly. Like once I drop this, like to me, like I'm setting myself up this is a commitment to at least get a new episode of this podcast out at least every 2 weeks. And I feel like that'll help me as far as like staying engaged with you guys and staying focused, just knowing that, and then it's not just about the podcast. Like it forces me to flex muscles that I don't use a lot, if that makes sense. It's like, the whole Kentray web investigation, like I had to really like do homework, and I wrote a whole script and collected data and stuff like that. Just it helps me in other ways. Like it kind of like I'm educating myself on various subjects just so I can, give you guys kind of a better product. And talking about the news on 4chan and going through other people's original content, I feel like this is just a new way for me to kind of just expand my horizons in a little way. So I'm definitely excited about continuing this podcast. And, the second I drop this one, I have so much motivation, like I just to kind of, go into the next one and make it bigger and better. So yeah, man, we're going to have a blast this year, man. I'm about to get in the comments. Stay tuned. Okay, time for my favorite part of the show. Now, much like how to be a NEET, I'm going to read some of you guys' comments, and I haven't read comments in a long time, so I just been kind of out of it, so I just kind of let it pile up. But yeah, I'm just gonna read a couple comments just to kind of we can keep up some sort of communication between us, and so yeah, let's get right into it. The one G36 says, "Why the fuck do you have so few views? You deserve like 1,000 times that." And really that's my own fault because I don't upload enough consistently, and I don't do enough promo and stuff like that. This summer I plan on changing that. Like I'm really hitting the ground running this summer. Like I'm gonna really try to take my channel to the next level, more reviews, more music. Try to get some videos and all that shit, podcasts, whatever, man. Like we're going in. So, just spread the word. Just tell anybody you know about me and my channel, and we'll see what happens, man. Let's make this channel awesome. All right. Ferdinand Antonio Calero said, "You should watch the original series." He's referring to Guyver, the Ballistic Armor. "This has been one of my favorite anime series. Thanks for their review." I've seen the original one. And at least as far as the animation is concerned, I definitely thought it was better. But yeah, it's not my favorite anime, but it's definitely serviceable. It's a little generic. I found it to be like a little generic, like a whole power suit armor anime thing. But I enjoyed it. It's cool. Shit. I'm watching Slam Dunk right now. Hint, hint. Zhang said 1 hour review for a 2 hour movie. Not that I'm complaining. Unrelated to the video, but how do you record vocals comfortably as a NEET? I want to record a few songs I've written, but have only put out one so far because I just can't rap about furry hoes with my mom downstairs. By the way, I made a song and shouted you out. And really, usually when I record, my mom's at work, or usually it's just me and my brother here, or my niece. I usually don't record while she's here, but I have done that. Like I'm not afraid to rap about crazy NEET shit when my mom's here either. It's just that I prefer to do it when she's not, because she's just loud, man. Like washing dishes and shit, going up and down the stairs. Like she don't sit down, so I wouldn't even be able to, like you would hear like dishes clanging in the background. So yeah. And you made a song, and I'm gonna have to check it out. And this is perfect because I'm probably gonna feature this on the next episode of the OCM Botcast. Like this is exactly what I need, original content. So of course, like if you guys have anything, original music or something, let me know, because I would feature it on the podcast. So I'm gonna check that out, and I'm trying to fit it into the next episode. Thank you, Zang Man. Dave Da Vinci said those jean shorts. He's talking about the cover of the Ballad of Kentray Brown. But yeah, that's not a good move, man. It's like who invented jean shorts? When was that cool? I don't know. Like, was it hip hop culture? I don't know, man, but jean shorts, man, that's just, oh, God. Amanda Yelvington said, can I use this beat? I want to make a little cringe song. And as I always say, any beat I upload, I don't care what you guys do with it. I don't really have a strong attachment to the things that I create. I'm not like hogging it. I hope people use it and flip it. Take this podcast and chop it up and flip it if you want to. I don't really care. It's all for the entertainment of the masses. Thank you for the comment, Amanda. Lords of Swarm said, yep, was right. Knew that I would end up sub to your channel. Beats were dope. Thank you for the sub. My channel is pretty damn awesome. I just need to make more fucking videos. Lazy ass. Thank you, Lords of Swarm. Kenny Lauderdale said on a Naruto anime review, how do you reconcile Naruto having everything handed to him when the theme of the first arc, you can get where you need to be with enough hard work, seems like Neji was right about fate and then they killed him later. Exactly. That's my main problem with Naruto, Noah said. And people talk about this all the time though. It's like, for all the talk of hard work and believing in yourself, when you really look at a lot of anime, a lot of it comes down to luck or genetics, especially like the main character's success. I mean, you look at Goku, he's a Saiyan. If he was a normal human like Krillin, Vegeta would have came and just capped his ass, or he would have died long ago. Yu Yu Hakusho, even that. Yusuke turned out he had demon blood. He was like 1/100th demon, and that's why he always had the edge over Kuwabara and other people. He had that latent demon power. So yeah, I guess the writers, they don't really think about this stuff, like where they try to emphasize hard work and dedication when I guess because they just want to have some plot device that makes sense of them being so much better than everyone else, but it ends up kind of devaluing the whole idea of their hard work and perseverance. But not saying Naruto doesn't work hard. I mean, he certainly does, but it's like having a fox spirit with damn near infinite stamina is pretty damn useful as well. But yeah, thanks for those comments, guys. Now, Stella Marion said, I go on night walks, night bike rides, runs, been chased by a big old pit. Thank goodness on my bike, so I was able to lose it. Had rando dudes try to offer me rides, which I didn't take for obvious reasons. Car full of people stopped beside me and jump out, but I literally escaped into the bushes before they did. Cops following me, but other than that, 1010 would recommend. I love the song you had behind the night walk footage. Sounds like this guy is going through his fair share of adventures on night walks. I've never had any crazy shit like that. I've had like I ran into cats, they like run away. I ran into dogs and they usually run away. I've had dudes offer me rides though. Like usually, like normally it'll be like obvious like gay dudes or something, or like this one guy, he offered me like $100 to take some pictures or something. Of course I declined. I didn't want to end up in like a Jeffrey Dahmer situation. But yeah, it's some weirdos out there, man. And I got stopped by the cops probably once or twice, but nothing ever came of it. But it can be pretty weird. But 9 times out of 10, man, it's really more than likely nothing's gonna happen. It's usually okay. Thanks for the comments. Dapty said, how do you talk to a microphone all alone without any input back and have it be so interesting? And Zhang said he probably has a list of talking points to keep it going, but yeah, it's pretty damn impressive. And Zhang pretty much has it down packed. Like when I do like when I did the Naruto review, I just have while I'm writing it, while I'm watching the anime, I have a notebook where I just take little notes like, okay, I'm going to describe this event, and or now I'm going to talk about the characters, and now I'm going to talk about what's good. Like, it's really simple. Like, like the thing is, you don't have to really write out like this long, detailed like summary or review, like just little key points, like this is the guy that created it, this is the plot summarized, here are just certain features of the anime, like this, like the superpowers, and the players, and the setting, and talk about the comedy, and my favorite moment. It's really easy. Like, you can fit it all on like one sheet of paper, like just little points, like just specific things that you want to talk about, and boom, you got a review. So it's really easy. You just take like literally one page of notes and you can make a decent video. Really the least bit of planning. Like this episode of the Botcast, like it's like a few sentences. I got like a few now. Really, other than the whole Kentrey, like I really went in for that, like a whole like spreadsheet. But overall, just man, very little work overall. Now, Arts Nari Puff said on the How to Be a Neat 7 episode, How to Be a Neat episode 7, you're right, I can confirm, it's always either the blue or red candies. It's fucking great, bro. Green and yellow is the shit. Ma, I need more attendees. But yeah, sugar's the devil. It's like a drug, because once you eat it, you can't stop. Small dick click, I died. And yeah, I agree with all that. He's talking about when I was talking about candy, and how the best candies are always like reds, and the yellows and other stuff is like bullshit usually. Unless it's Laffy Taffy. Laffy Taffy yellow is good. But yeah, man, are you a member of the small dick click? Are you a card carrying member of the small penis crew? But yeah, thanks for that. Valkyrie said all incels and aspies should just rope. No one gives a fuck about you, well, except your mom. But she's embarrassed by you too. Yeah, that's pretty mean. But that's one solution. But I think I always feel like the one thing incels get wrong is that like they never look at the third option. Like, what if we don't need sex? What if I could be happy without sex? And that's kind of the path that I've chosen. So I'm not saying that guys should just give up, but it's like, if you don't want to go through all this shit, if you don't want to, backflip through flaming hoops, cartwheel over tigers, front flip over, like, if you don't want to just suffer the pain of being a genetically inferior male, and having to relentlessly chase after women for access to their hoes, then I just suggest go monk, like just and really, and man, like monk mode is really some serious shit, man. Like, I think that people never talk about the fact that we have this whole sect of human beings who just like straight, like purposely rejected sex and seem to be doing okay. So that's what got me thinking, like, maybe we don't need it. And so, I want to talk about that more, because I've been thinking about it, like just how getting more into spirituality has kind of given me a whole new outlook on life. But yeah, mean comment. I don't want to say nice. Thanks for the comment. That was mean. Okay, now Punish Supreme Dragon said Rock Lee versus Gara attorney arc is my favorite arc. He called it the Rock Lee versus Gara attorney arc. Like, that's the whole arc. It's the tuning exams. But yeah, then he says, I fucking relate, because fuck, man, going through this life, it often feels like people have insights and aptitudes for networking or excelling in STEM or lucrative career paths, and I'm a fucking loser who was never able to fit in outside of a brief time in high school, where even then people could see through me joining the football team and various leadership organizations as a means to fit in. But I've always been behind the curve But a character like Lee fucking grinds hard as fuck like I did, and he fucking made it work for him, and I love that. Sorry, I'm drunk. The last part explains a lot. Dude was drunk. But yeah, man. And you know, I don't know if I talked about this in the anime review, but I always said, man, I look at my life in a similar way. Like if I'm not good at one thing, then I'm gonna just excel at something else. You know, I always said, like, if I can't get bitches, then, you know, I'm gonna just kill this rap shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, or I'm gonna just be fit, or I'm gonna be healthy. Like, I'm looking for other ways to be happy, to be efficient, to be excellent. And you know, there's this MGTOW YouTuber called the Thinking Ape, and he talked about how people confuse the hunt for, you know, sex for what they really want, which is validation. And I kind of agree. It's like, I just feel like, you know, in the same way Rock Lee, he doesn't need ninjutsu. He just needs to be good enough to get the job done. You know, and I feel like in a lot of ways, like, we don't necessarily need a girlfriend. We just need something that validates us, something that we can be passionate about, something that makes us feel good about ourselves. And we need to find that and excel in it. And, you know, that's what I always try to encourage my fellow robots and wizards to do. But thank you, Punish Super Dragon. That was an awesome fight, my man. Okay. I'm tired. Epic Zed said, I know I'm about a year late, but I found this channel a few weeks ago and have really enjoyed the music and how to be a neat podcast you do. Also, this tape is really good. I play it on repeat whenever I'm gaming or browsing the internet on my laptop. Keep it up, man. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Like, those are the kind of posts that keeps me motivated to keep doing this sort of thing, man. So I really, really appreciate that. T. Dot's Finest said, how did you get so damn good? This is on that's a Kawaii beat. And Joe Santana said, being a NEET affords you a lot of time to improve. And, you know, that's part of it. But really, I think the difficulty of making beats is way overblown. It is not hard. I mean, dude, I am the most half-ass beat maker on the planet. You'll be surprised how much I don't spend, like how much time I did not spend actually like working on music. Like, it's crazy. It's really just not that hard. Like making beats and like trap beats and little stuff is not, trust me, dude. Like, if you spend this summer, like, now, you don't have to be like me and half-ass it. If you spent like literally like 2 months, like just seriously working in the FL Studio or some other type of program and looking up YouTube videos and just making beat, like putting hours in every day, like, you will be close to my level in no time. Like, it is really. Now, it's certainly like an upper level that even I'm not at. But like I said, like where I am, like it's not that hard to get to like at least halfway decent. Like, it's really not. It's not like learning guitar or piano or something. It's so easy. I mean, dude. I mean, you get like a kick, a clap, some hi-hats, and a melody, and boom, you like halfway there. So yeah, man, I encourage everybody to try it if you got the time, because it's really easy. Okay, now last but not least, Charles Boyd said, okay, here are the lyrics. This is to Life is Neat. I never put the lyrics there. He said, I wrote them down as best as I could. I didn't catch all of the anime references as I'm not a fan, so anime sales, please help. Also point out any other mistakes. Now, I'm not going to read this whole thing right now, but I just wanted to say thank you for actually taking the time to write the lyrics when I procrastinated on doing it for so fucking long. Now, that just shows the dedication of my fans. Thank you, Charles Voy. And that's it for comments. And that's it for today's episode of the OCM Botcast. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. And, you know, I know it's a little rough around the edges right now, but I assure you this is going to be the best podcast on YouTube, except for Joe Rogan. He's on a different level, man. He had Kevin Hart. Joe Rogan got Kevin Hart. Like, I am just so continuously impressed with Joe, because I've watched he's always had impressive guests, but it's like now he has like Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis. I wouldn't be surprised if Barack Obama stepped into his fucking studio, man. Like, now that's my favorite podcast, Joe Rogan Experience. I know it's like, you know, whenever something becomes popular, it kind of loses like that underground like feel. Like, you know, now people are questioning if Joe Rogan is like a CIA agent or if he's really red pill, because he's just so popular now. But man, I really do love the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, man. But you know, I'm gonna look at different podcasts and see what I can take as far as like how I can make mine better. And I hope you guys give me some input and some feedback on this. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And yeah, I'll see you guys shortly. I'm gonna have fun working on the next. Excuse me. We're gonna have fun working on the next episode. And oh yeah, and don't forget, check out the links in the description. You know, to my Twitter, my SoundCloud. Donate to my PayPal or Patreon if you want to, just to, you know, so I can make all this shit better. And there's a Discord link for like my personal Discord where we just kind of talk about feels and music and random stuff. As usual, there are only 2 rules: no girls, no traps. Never forget that. No girls, no traps. So yeah, join the Discord if you are a robot person guy. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.